Welcome back. Still tuned into Market Sense. As the markets continue to reel under pressure, we'll focus on individual stocks and talk about the outlook ahead. DB Corp, in fact, that company put out a pretty impressive set of numbers, and it was clearly the election impact which fueled the ad growth for the company. What's the outlook going ahead? Let's talk about some of the new launches as well as the rupee impact on their newsprint prices. Girish Agarwaal, promoter director at DB Corp, now joins in on the show. Mr. Agarwaal, let's start off with the overall election impact. No doubt, it has certainly fueled a very strong ad revenue growth for the company. What's the outlook on the ad spends going forward?
So if you see the 9-month growth, what we have achieved is around 18%, and if I take the election out of it, it's roughly around 16% overall. And we hope and estimate that in the next quarter also, we should be able to maintain this kind of number. In the current growth which we are getting from these sectors, it looks like that this number should be achieved.
Just recently we had the I&B minister who indicated that the radio phase 3 auctions will be starting in May. Are there any plans that you've slated for the same, and how do you see the revenues from the radio business now shaping up?
See, radio as a segment is growing, is good for us. We have a pretty impressive growth, around 20% overall. But about this third auction, we've been hearing from last 2 years. So I think unless until it really comes out and happens, I don't think there's any point in speculating in the whole thing.
Girish, afternoon, Neeraj here. I just want to understand from you that over the last few years, if you've looked at that business, during the election times, do you see stupendous ad growth a couple of months before elections when you have these opinion polls also starting out, etc., or that doesn't quite happen?
No, I think we all have to understand that the election is only a 20 or 30 days excitement in the market. Most of the channels and newspaper keep talking about it 3 months before, 4 months before we do the opinion polls. But frankly speaking, to the reader, it's just a 20-30 days exercise. And so, there's no great impact on the ad revenue also. In fact, it happens the other way, because when the election code of conduct get announced, all the routine advertising of the government is totally stopped. Most of the new launches in that area stop because people don't want to, get involved with the political campaign around. So I don't think election is a big benefit for, as it is perceived by the people by large, for any of the newspapers as such.
In fact, so in which case I'm guessing you will nullify my other point as well. A lot of people were of the opinion that rural ad spends by FMCG companies would pick up quite a bit closer to May. I think even that won't happen, right? You would probably presume that will happen post-elections.
See, exactly. Please understand, because of elections, suddenly some kind of 1 or 2 categories may show some growth, but it is not an overall phenomena at all. Yes, there is some percentage growth because of the political party ad spend happening, or the government increasing some display ads and all that. But routine, because of a automobile category or a real estate category, say it's an election happening and I must go out in the market and push the money, doesn't work. Unless until government do some scheme that, okay, slashing down the interest rate by 2% or 1%, then a real estate company or automobile company can really try to push some more advertising in the paper.
Now, currently, you are leading in most of the markets in which you operate in, but you do have the regional markets. The competition over there really seems to be rising. So what steps exactly are you taking in order to enhance your penetration and increase circulation?
Fortunately, we have competition in all the markets of ours. Either we are a competition to other or somebody else is a competition to us, because that keeps you awake, that keeps you on. Recently we launched Bihar, and we have done a phenomenal job in Bihar, and I really thank the people of Bihar, Patna, to give us that kind of support. Today we are the largest circulated paper in the city of Patna, and 2 years back when we went to Maharashtra, we got the similar kind of response. So in most of the markets, there's a regular innovation happening in terms of content. As you know, newspaper is all about content. Advertising follows the content, follows the reader. So our most focus is on the content, and we're very happy that in last 3-4 years our readership has gone up. Our circulation has increased, and whichever market we have entered, readers have accepted us. It's all because of content, and it's an everyday process.
Girish, can you also dwell a bit upon how have newsprint prices behaved recently, also keeping in mind that the currency is a lot more stable now, and how do you expect that to have an impact on your operational picture, say over the next 6 months, if it's possible to forecast that?
Yeah. True. See, on the currency side, we are kind of on the same number what has been there in last 3-4 months. But the prices which went up by the newsprint guy, that looks like that there would be a rupee or two softening happening in the next quarter. So that's what the negotiation is on with the Indian manufacturer also, because there has been a decline of at least $5 in the international market. So that impact we should also get it from the Indian manufacturer. So we are hoping that a rupee or two should be saved going forward on each ton of the newsprint.
And taking off on a point that you had spoken about with us the last time you joined in, that you were, you have held discussions with several players regarding acquisitions in order to fuel growth. Take us through what is happening on that front. Has anything really materialized?
No, I think my lunches and dinner meetings are still continuing, nothing more than that.
But nothing, no talks regarding acquisitions, it's just the lunch and the dinner?
You know what happened in Indian scenario, when you go and talk to a promoter about acquiring his business, especially in the media, it's not about the money, it's more about that personal recognition, the ego around and all that. So I guess it takes a lot of time for a person to decide that yes, he wants to move out.
And quickly before we let you go, the digital business also pretty strong growth in the quarter gone by. What's the strategy here and what's the total contribution to your total revenues?
See, digital, the whole strategy is to acquire the customer now, because there's no revenue currently. But we all are hoping that in next 5 years time, maybe 7 years time, there would be some growth model in terms of revenue will come in there. So till the time that model comes, the strategy is to acquire customer. For example, today we already have some 400 million page views on a monthly basis. So idea is that how this 400 million goes up to 600 million in next 1.5 years time.
Okay, Girish, we'll leave it at that. I read a case study in making breakthrough innovations happen about how you guys have done very well whenever you had a new launch in any of the cities. Keep up the good work and all the best for the next 12 months. Thanks so much for joining in.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's DB Corp, put down about 1.5%. Speaking about the impact on newsprint prices because of the currency, and of course saying that the elections will not have a big impact on the ad growth for them as a company at least. Okay, on to some other stocks.